everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division in the St. Patrick's Tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also visit the relaunch, or like not the relaunch, but visit golfclashtommy.com, which had a relaunch this start of the tournament. Check it out, check the win chart creator especially out. Also, if you do want to get the best guides on the market, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy and the ultimate tournament text guides. In this playthrough, you will see my shots and my shots only, and please follow the information box on the right hand side where you will see elevation for the drive, for the second shot, also what type of club and ball that I think going to be the best one to use. And as always, and I cannot stress that enough, sometimes I'm using a club, or like that happens many of the times, that I'm using a club that either have a lower level or a higher level than what you might have. So please listen to the explanation, because I never make a playthrough that is only based on higher level clubs or higher level balls. It might be easier, but then I explain that as well. So listen to the explanation and do not focus that much on the level that you or I have on my club or what type of power ball that I'm using. In the end, let's go and watch hole number 1 and let's crush it. For hole number 1, we're going to play with the backbone, and please do not focus on the level of the backbone because it doesn't matter. So even if you have a backbone level 1, you play with the backbone level 1. 1.5 bar backspin, max left spin with the Marlin ball, because we don't need distance, we don't really need anything, but it could be good to have a little bit of wind resistance and also a little bit of side spin on this very tough par 3. Maximum distance with a 15% over adjustment, and then we're going to take our shot, and you're going to notice that this ball is going to come very, very close. Once again, I cannot stress that enough. This shot can be made with whatever level backbone you are having. 1.5 bar backspin, max left, maximum side spin left, and the maximum distance with a 15% over adjustment, and then you're going to be close. For hole number 2, we are going to play on the left-hand side. The reason for that is because the wind is tailwind, and we're going to find ourselves with a very good chance for the second shot once we are playing here on the left-hand side. Have in mind, I'm playing with a superior driver, so the reason that I'm backing up here is due to that I'm trying to reflect playing with an XMI level 5 or below. So therefore, I back up. I only use 4.5 bar topspin as well, which is a similar amount of topspin used by an XMI level 5 or below. Sure, if you do have a higher level club, like an XMI level 8 or 7 or 6, you can move up to max distance and go from there. The thing that we do want to do though is to get the ball down there on the fairway, giving ourselves a decent amount of distance, maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. Second shot, you can play with whatever level of the thorn that you're having, but the reason I want you to play with the thorn is due to us getting a decent amount of backspin here. We do want 4 bars of backspin minimum. It all depends obviously how close you are to the pin, due to how much the backspin you're gonna use. Now we play medium distance from the distance we had, so medium distance, 4 bars backspin. We aim for the hole, not using any elevation whatsoever, so just a big 0 there, bounce on the fairway and bouncing into the hole for a nice little eagle. For hole number 3, we are going to play with the quarterback for the drive. 3 bars top spin and no side spin whatsoever here. The plan here is to get as close to the rough line as possible and using a power 3 ball. Reason we're using a power 3 ball, it's not as much for the drive here, but it's more or less for the second shot that's otherwise going to be very difficult if we do not have the distance. We adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. Once we are done, we push up our target into max, so we can gain as much distance possible without having to go into overpower. Then the ball is gonna slide down very nicely up to being very close to the rough, and then we do have the big dog for the second shot. Here comes the distance in play, which is very valuable. Titan ball gives us the power 3 once again, and then the big dog gives us the 180 yards, which we do not get on many of the clubs, especially not in as low level. So it doesn't really matter what level big dog you're having, I would still play with it. So maximum distance with a minus 10%. And what does minus 10% mean? It means that we're playing uphill and the ball is then going to be less affected by the wind, and therefore we do need to use that because we're playing uphill. The ball is going to come with 1.5 bar topspin, max ride spin. A little bit too much though. 1 bar topspin would definitely be enough. Rolls up towards the green. You know, I'm not expecting an albatross here, but it's good to actually have a very short putt for an eagle. For hole number 4, we are going to use our sniper if we do have it in level 4+. Otherwise, we're going to play with the Viper with the same type of structure. We're going to use 1.5 bar backspin. So I'm using 2 bars backspin here, but I would like us to change to 1.5 bar as we otherwise will go short. Yellow ring just there by the top of the rough line, and then we're going to adjust from maximum distance with no elevation. And why do I suggest no elevation where I suggest 20% on the other holes? It's because no elevation suit this adjustment. The adjustment that I'm making here is that I'm adjusting medium distance with a 15% over adjustment, and you can see that I'm going short and I'm also going to the right. So we would not be getting this ball in the hole if we would be adjusting, you know, if we would be having less backspin. So 1.5 bar backspin, maximum distance with no elevation. That's going to be the trick to get the hole in one on hole number 4. For hole number 5, we once again have a very good opportunity making an eagle. 4.5 bar topspin and as much side spin to the right possible with our extra mile level 5. And then we're going to want to be very focused on the second bounce. So the second bounce is clearly on the fairway and not as close to the rough line there to the right. Adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and once we are done, we're just going to play a normal shot. The plan here is to just set ourselves up nicely on the fairway so we then can get the ball in the hole for an eagle. So there you can see, very open shot towards the pin, and now we're going to play with a short iron here. You play with a short iron that you feel the most comfortable with. It's either going to be the Thorn or it's going to be the Hornet in most of the cases. Ball guideline to the hole, I like to not use any spin whatsoever. You maybe wonder why did I go back and forth there with my club. The reason I did that is to try to measure in what type of club range am I in. Am I in maximum distance, am I in minimum distance, or am I in medium distance of my club? In this scenario, I will play this one medium distance with no over or under adjustment, and you're going to see our ball snuck in the right hand side. But once again, the key here on this hole is to measure your club range for the second shot so you know how much to adjust to get that eagle. For hole number 6, we're going to play the drive maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. And don't try to be a hero like me. Don't try to play with a power 1 ball when we actually need a power 3 ball. Max topspin, let the ball guideline show that you're going straight down the middle and not going to danger the rough on the left or on the right. Then we adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment as explained. Then we're going to push the target up to max. Yes, the reason we do that is to make sure that we do get like as most distance possible without having to overpower. Now, you can use a little overpower if you want to, but I think the most important part here is that you do need to hit perfect. If you don't hit perfect, you're gonna see this ball go into the rough on the right or on the left hand side. One thing that I want to mention with the drive before we go over to the second shot is to use a power 3 ball. And if you, even if you're playing in rookie, maybe with lower level clubs, use the big topper as a driver. You have an enormous amount of topspin, and that's going to help you big time. Because the thing that we don't want to happen is this. We are not having enough distance. Sure, with a Titan ball, we will be having more distance and could go for a rough bump. And, you know, But with getting the distance here for the drive, which is the key, then we would be having a more open shot towards the pin, and we don't have to adjust or like take the shot blind towards the pin. And with blind, I mean that we have no way to have the ball guideline to the hole. And that type of shots, it's extremely difficult to do well. Minimum distance with a 10% is what we do need to play no matter how we play the second shot, because we are playing uphill. But once again, the big topper, the big dog, clubs with distance is going to be needed, especially when it comes to the drive and then the power 3 ball. So a lot of changes here if you do want to have the ultimate setup, but I do wanted to show you with very limited ball setup and club setup how you should manage an eagle as well here on a tough par 5 like the hole number 6. For hole number 7, we are once again going to approach a par 4 where we do have a very good opportunity for an eagle. 4.5 bar topspin and as much side spin to the left. And here I would like you to play with at least a power 2 ball. Why? Because I don't want you to go and use overpower. When you have put your spin on, make sure that you can see the second bounce being clearly on that fairway path for rolling down the fairway. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and if you have room to push up your target to max, or like let's say like this, if your target is not in max after your adjustment, you push it up to max. Tiny bit of curl to the left, and then you're going to see your ball bounce on the fairway and roll up very nicely, putting yourself in a good spot for the second shot. Second shot, we're going to have to once again try to measure our club range. So therefore, you drag up to max, you pull back to min, and then check where you are at. I'm liking this shot to go without spin here as well. I like to play my short iron shot to use, as little spin as possible for a more consistent result as possible. Minus 10% is the adjustment here, which means that this ball is played, or like this shot is played uphill, and therefore it's going to be less affected by the wind. I do play this one medium distance, but as I said when playing this shot earlier, I felt that this shot was going to be a little bit too much, and you're going to notice that we just barely missed this shot on the left hand side. So a little bit less adjustment there than we would be having that one in for an eagle as well. For hole number 7, we are going to use a wood club that gives us at least 1.5 bar topspin. And in our book here, it's going to be the Sniper. And the Sniper does even have 1.5 bar topspin in a lower level as a level 4. But now we play with a level 4 and we're using 1/3 of the red ring inside the rough with the rest on the fringe. And then the ball guideline pointing directly at the hole, being a little bit short as we do not have a fully developed ball guideline with the Sniper level 4. Minimum distance with a 10% over adjustment, no curl whatsoever, and we're then going to obviously focus on hitting the ball perfect. Hitting the ball perfect will clip the rough, and we're then going to roll up towards the pin, and we just barely get this ball to fall down for a nice hole-in-one here on hole number 7. For hole number 9, there is only one way to get to green here, and that is to clear the rough and the sand. And that we cannot really do playing with a power 3 ball, or at least it's going to be extremely difficult. So the thing that I do here is that I do change to a power 5 ball. And a power 5 ball doesn't have to be a berserker, but the berserker ball you can win for free by playing your golden shot hard version. And there you can follow the guide, you can get the berserker ball, because honestly, we do need that to be able to read for the green in 2. So, if you do want to play and get to the green, then this is the guide to follow. If you're gonna play a power 3 ball, I would say I'm almost sorry, because it's gonna be extremely difficult for you to get to the green. You might get semi-close, but the eagle won't be 100% secured. Max overpower, 4.5 bar topspin, and we do want to get the ball to be as close to the rough here on top possible. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. That's going to leave us up with a big dog, and we use 3 topspin, max right spin, and we're aiming as close to the rough line possible that we at least feel sure with that with a great right we won't clip the rough. And that is using around 1.5 ring from our landing point to where, you know, the rough is. Max curl to the right, and we hit great right, and you're gonna notice that we're gonna be very close to the rough, but we're still gonna manage to stay away from clipping the rough. Roll this ball to the green. I do not expect or see an albatross be happening on this hole, but if you make an eagle here, you're going to see yourself get an advantage over your opponent, because there will be plenty of players only making a birdie on this tough par 5 to end up the tournament. So a berserker ball is the key, so you do get the distance. Sure, for those of you playing with superior clubs like extra mile level 8, or you maybe have an extra mile level 7, you maybe have a Thor's Hammer level 5, Apocalypse level 3, you know, those type of clubs, then you could maybe squeeze an eagle in, making the greenie 2 with a power 3 ball. But this is a bulletproof, secure way to make an eagle here on rookie from on hole number 9. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division. Make sure you use the timestamps in the description down below, and also listen to my explanations, because sometimes I might not be using a club that you have, but there might be a possibility to play with that club still, or at least play with a lower level of that type of club, so you can actually follow the adjustment. That's always my goal, making a playthrough that you can use lower level clubs and still play the same way. So listen to the explanations, and I'm using a mix of club, a mix of balls to be able to provide the best possible playthrough, so you can first and foremost get to the weekend round, but maybe also compete for one of the top spots in your bracket. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck in the tournament.